first thing you think of when you hear the word e-commerce? Convenient, fast. Everything today seems to be just one click away. In big cities in China, I can get online, order a meal, get it in less than an hour. I can get online, order something cute and little for my kids. I can get online, order something big and heavy for my elderly parents, and get them shipped to their doorsteps. The first big move of e-commerce came with America's Amazon.com, founded in 1994. At that time, the company sold only one product, books, but had bigger plans to sell anything from A to Z, just like its logo. In 1999, Chinese entrepreneur established Alibaba.com, spurring e-commerce development in China. The stated objective of the company is to make it easy to do business anywhere. In the past 15 years, the total e-commerce trade volume in China increased 30 times. In Shanghai, 50% of the total retail sales in consumer goods are conducted online. E-commerce has started changing people's lives. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you buy things online? Raise your hands. How many bought something this week? Raise your hands. Great. E-commerce is changing our life. In the past 3 years, I led the joint research on e-commerce development in China. It's a joint project between the World Bank and the Alibaba Group. The recently published report shows how China has used digital technology to create jobs, support inclusive growth through the development of e-commerce in rural areas. For this study, I was fortunate to speak with many people, women and men, youth and elderly, returned migrants and the left behind. For this study, I was fortunate to see firsthand how e-commerce platforms are opening doors and providing opportunities to connect rural citizens to the broader market. For this study, I'm very fortunate today to be here to share with you what I have seen, how e-commerce creates jobs. In China, 50 million people, or 5% of the total employment, work in e-commerce. Women and youth are strong beneficiaries of this growth. The ratio of women to men entrepreneurs in e-commerce is about 1:1, and this compared to 1:3 in all business. 3 out of 4 rural e-tailers are between 20 to 29 years old. Many of these rural young people, they may have lived in cities, and now they are back home working on e-commerce. Early this year, I was in Pingle, a county in Henan province. Pingle is famous for peony, a flower symbols beauty and prosperity. Farmers there, many of them women with limited education, had a long tradition of painting peonies. This woman, we call her Fang Jie, is one of these peony painting artists. When she showed me her work, I can see the confidence and happiness in her eyes. I asked her, Fang Jie, what do you think about e-commerce? She smiled and told me that she earned a decent income by selling her work online. She also shared with me an insight. She said, painting peony is easy, but learning to write the characters and sign my name is hard. But to meet consumer demand, she learned many new characters, many new skills, and she will continue to learn more new things. We all learn by doing. Fang Jie's smile is inspiring. It inspired me to look into the journey of how e-commerce creates jobs. In the traditional market, in the offline supply chain, each peony painting was sold at a low price, and only a small amount of peony paintings was sold because the purchasing power was low and the demand was limited. A few years ago, e-commerce became central to the Chinese government policy boosting economic growth. The government invests significantly in infrastructure, in skills training. The coverage of internet and e-commerce platform expanded throughout the country. Skills training was provided to all small business along the supply chain. The business environment improved. Online sales of peony painting started. Consumer services, logistics services, jobs are created. Consumer demand for customized products are being filled. The sales amount and the sales price started to increase. More jobs and better jobs are created. As the local e-commerce ecosystem continued to develop, more variety of products are developed, such as peony painting, peony curtain, peony drums, peony stones. The local brand value increased sharply. With product innovation, process innovation, more jobs are created. These are not only jobs in painting, in logistics services, and consumer services. These are also jobs in product manufacturing. In just a few years, the local economy was transformed. In rural China, e-commerce development has a strong tendency of clustering. Taobao Village is a special phenomenon in China. Taobao villages are villages that have at least 100 active online stores and at least 10 million yuan or 1.5 million US dollar online sales each year. The number of Taobao villages increased sharply from 3 in 2009 to 200 in 2014 to over 4,000 in 2019. To understand this very special phenomenon, our joint research team of the World Bank and the Alibaba Group partnered with Peking University and Nankai University to conduct a survey in 1,400 households and 80 Taobao villages. From the survey, we learned that per capita household income in households that participate in e-commerce is higher than households in Taobao villages that do not participate in e-commerce. 3 out of 4 households that participate in e-commerce have cars, compared to 1 out of 3 households. With the development of e-commerce in Taobao Village, young people start to come back home, working on e-commerce. This has helped to restore the social fabric. Consumer services jobs, logistic delivery jobs are booming. The new online business creates flexible jobs for the less skilled in the neighborhood. I remember this woman and her baby. I met them in Guizhou. She's an online consumer service agent. I remember the smile on her face and the smile on her baby's face. It's really great to see that e-commerce has started improving people's life. More research is still needed to understand the causality between e-commerce development and local economic growth. It is essential that we devise policy to strengthen the development impact of e-commerce. For that, we need to understand 3 questions. The first, why is e-commerce more developed in some areas than others? Second, what measures we need to put in place to jumpstart e-commerce in potential areas? And 3, how can we ensure the inclusive distribution of the benefit of participation in e-commerce across the different segments of the population? In this joint research, we identify 3 elements for e-commerce readiness. The first one, skills and entrepreneurship. For that, we need skills to use internet, to operate e-shops. We need skills to provide consumer services. We need skills to do online product development. And we need entrepreneurial and risk-taking behavior. Second, infrastructure and logistics. We need access to e-commerce platform, access to internet, access to roads and logistic network, and access to online payment systems. Third, a conducive business environment. These include all factors important for traditional business, as well as factors specific for e-commerce. The Chinese government and the platform company have put in place targeted interventions to support e-commerce development in lagging areas. This is a woman I met in a village atop a mountain in Chongqing. We call her Lan Lan. She used only work at the local village stores. And now, in addition to that, she's also an e-commerce agent. She works with villagers to help villagers to buy things online, and she helps villagers to sell things online. And she also helps villagers to pay bills such as water bills, electricity bills online. By helping to establish this e-commerce public service network, she's creating better jobs for herself and for others. Her pride has shown on her face. E-commerce is a new opportunity. It connects sellers with buyers. It lowers transaction costs, and it creates new niche markets to meet consumer demand. All this creates jobs, better jobs with higher pays and better satisfaction. The stories of Fang Jie's, the stories of Lan Lan, they are inspiring. China's experience shows that e-commerce development is not limited in high-income countries, urban areas, and high-tech sectors. With the right condition, e-commerce can flourish in developing countries, rural areas. It can create jobs for the less skilled, for the disadvantaged. For all this to happen, the conditions must be right. Investments are needed in skills training, in logistics, in infrastructure, and a conducive business environment. The Chinese experience, the development in rural e-commerce has its unique elements. Countries that look to China for evidence need to keep this in mind, the importance of these prerequisites. There is a strong positive association between e-commerce development and inclusive growth, and more research is needed to understand such association. As always, when poverty reduction and shared prosperity are the goal, the government cannot act alone. Private sectors, citizens, local communities all need to work together to develop solutions and provide actions. If we all work together, it is possible that there will be more Fang Jies, more Lan Lans, bold and brilliant, who can enjoy their jobs and live fulfilling lives. Thank you very much.